Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on this Labor Day. Hope you've had a great Labor Day weekend. We've had some big time rain across parts of the area, especially in Cherokee County yesterday. Radar estimating over 6 to 7 inches of rain in parts of our coverage area to the north and east. Parts of Blount County, we've had some heavy rain, and we'll check in with some of that flooding that's happened around parts of the region. But right now we're catching some breaks. Let's take you to First Alert AccuTrack radar, show you where it's raining right now. We've got a flood watch that's set to expire at 7 o'clock tonight. But here's the thing. Next several days, we need to watch out for that risk of flooding. I think through Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, there will be a risk there for some flooding with any heavy downpour that pops up. But it is nice, at least comparing to yesterday, to see some more breaks across the area. And where it's not raining, it's still kind of cloudy in some spots, feeling kind of muggy, very humid. But we'll go in for a closer view, and I want to see if I can bring in some of those, some of that rainfall information from yesterday. But you can see again around Cedar Bluff and into Cherokee County, some of that rain that's moving on through. We'll go to our radar products here. Let's check out Huntsville and see if we actually have our, there we go. We'll go to rain totals right here, storm totals. Check this out. And you can see there's some locations right there. See if we can bring in some of the totals. And this is Chattooga County, Georgia. Now this is from the Birmingham radar. If we look at this from the Huntsville radar, it's estimating over a foot of rain in some of these areas, but you could see how that all kind of drains into the river basin in here, back in towards the Chattooga River and in towards Weiss Lake. So a lot of issues related to runoff from the heavy rain that happened yesterday. That's going on right there across those northeastern areas. But again, back out to the big view, and you can see, I just want to point out the areas where we had the heavy rain yesterday. You can see there's one little zone right in here, northern Bibb County. Also notice in here across parts of Shelby County. That's Bibb into Shelby County. And then right here around Shelby County, what you're looking at are some areas where we're seeing those totals that over the past 24 hours, look at that, that's showing 5 inches, that's showing over 3.5 inches. And then there's some locations also in the parts of the Birmingham area, see in here, where we've had some heavy rain. So just kind of keep this in mind. If you live near some of these areas where we have the reds, where we've had the heavier rainfall, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, if we get an additional heavy downpour, it wouldn't take long for a flood situation to develop, especially in those trouble spots that first off where we have flooding. We'll need to watch out in those zones. But again, looking at some of the radar data, and I mentioned, look at Blount County right in here around Hayden, around Locust Fort. You see this? These are some areas in here. Let's check out what the total shows. Look at that, over 6 inches of rainfall. Again, that's right there along Highway 79, Locust Fort towards Cedar Springs. We are really going to be paying close attention to these areas. South of Bremen, right in there, some heavy rainfall. So the thing is, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we have more of these showers and storms. So those are going to be some spots there where we could end up with some heavy rain. Let's actually go back to radar here, take a look at what's happening right now. We'll clear some of this off the screen. Let's go in for a closer view, and nothing too extreme at the moment, just some lighter rain that's moving in. This was a bit heavier earlier, so it is weakening. This was a storm, and you can see now just a shower, but enough to wet the roadways there. If you're traveling north along the interstate, Coleman County had some flooding back in here towards Lake Guntersville yesterday morning. Northeast Coleman County was included. Around Baileyton, we have some rain. Shower around Aniana. A little pop-up. Looks like this is all that's left of some of this wet weather, this latest wave that moved near Pinson and tracked into parts of St. Clair County. Tail end of that, producing a little bit of rain out here close to the Buc-ee's. There you go. You can see there's the Buc-ee's there. So the outlets getting a little bit of rain right now in that area. Let me back the view out and just kind of controlling the map here from the wall as we go into West Alabama, see what's happening. There was a little pop-up out around Holt Lake. See right there, a little shower. That's around Brookwood and Eagle Cove Marina area. That's tracking back in towards the north and east. And then we'll go back into Pickens County. It looks like a little storm here moving now across Pickensville. I mentioned on the news, we gave that first alert for Pickensville. A little cell is tracking to the northeast direction. You can see Archer around 650, Pine Grove around 655, and in Hale County, a little bit of rain there just north of Greensboro. But the general trend here from what I'm seeing, this has weakened quite a bit, so it looks as though as we go into the evening, we will see this continue to weaken. Let's go back to the next 60 minutes. I want to show you that. Actually, let's check out a couple of our cameras here quickly. We'll take you to a live look. There's Crane Works, and in Birmingham, you see we have a lot of clouds, but we are enjoying some breaks in the wet weather. There was some rain over into East Alabama. Actually, I believe that's an old camera view. Let's go to an updated view. I think we have Glencoe. Yeah, so catching a break there. You can see the pavement still a little damp from that rain that just moved through around Glencoe and the Hoax Bluff area, but that's moved on through. Let's go to T-Town, see what it's looking like there in Tuscaloosa. Of course, no rain showing up on the radar, but the temperature, well, we're showing 80 degrees. There's Tuscaloosa, and I believe we might have lost the feed there temporarily. We'll check in on Jasper, and that's at Sanders Aviation, but you can see the temperature there at 73 degrees. How about the next 60 minutes as we go to forecast radar? And we'll take you into the forecast radar view, and this is the areas most likely to be impacted here as we go into this evening. I do expect again tonight the wet weather to kind of thin out in coverage. Tomorrow it looks like the morning is going to be our best bet for outdoor activities, or at least for the drier time, the drier period of the day. As we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, I was looking at some of the high resolution data here, and it looks as though the tomorrow and also on Wednesday we may see most of that wet weather limited to the afternoon, but that's something we're watching in addition to what's happening in the tropics.
Yeah, Wes, the tropics are finally heating up. Took long enough because in August we didn't even have a named system in the Atlantic Basin. Now we have 2 named systems in addition to one in the Eastern Pacific. And we also have a disturbance we're watching. So we've got this wide view here. But let's zoom in on first Tropical Storm Earl. So right now this is north of Puerto Rico. It's been bringing some rain on the tail end of the system today to Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and the Leeward Islands. And now it's moving off to the north. And then we also have Hurricane Danielle, which is still in the northern Atlantic, been meandering its way, fortunately, away from land. But this disturbance that is down across the west coast of Africa that has emerged off of the west coast, you often get these tropical waves that will move westwards. It actually has a medium chance of development here over the next several days. So here's Hurricane Danielle. Right now, max winds at 85 miles per hour. So it is continuing to move to the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. You'll see the track here for Danielle is showcasing that eventually, as we get into the weekend, it's just going to kind of meander in place. It doesn't have something to steer it along. And eventually, as it moves farther northward and gets into some colder water, it is going to begin to weaken. But Earl is forecast to strengthen here over the next few days, actually looking fairly healthy on satellite tonight. And as we put it out here, the cone of uncertainty showing that potentially Earl could become a major hurricane as it tracks near Bermuda later this week. We're talking Friday, potentially max winds at 120 miles per hour. So Bermuda is certainly going to have to watch this closely. But the good news is Earl is going to stay away from the U.S. mainland. But as far as that disturbance that we're watching off the west coast of Africa, medium chance of development, it's expected to move north and west over the next several days. And fortunately, this doesn't look to be a threat to the U.S. But as far as the rest of the basin, you've got those 3 systems in the Atlantic Basin, and then you also have one in the Pacific. But you can see as we break down here over the next 48 hours, we don't expect much to happen with this, but here's a big view of these systems. We've got K out in the Eastern Pacific. This is likely going to be bringing some flooding rainfall to parts of Baja California over the next few days. And then you see we've got Danielle up here, Earl down here, and that one little disturbance off the west coast. So as we go forward in time, you'll notice, oh, these do begin to strengthen some, look a little bit more powerful like Earl and K, but neither of these are going to be impacting the U.S. mainland. Now, K may have to watch going into the weekend if you have friends or family in Southern California, could potentially brush the state, maybe bringing some rainfall. They could certainly use some rainfall in the days ahead. So that's about it. But as far as the Gulf of Mexico, it's like little tumbleweeds going through there. Very quiet. So Wes, we really hope that in the days ahead we continue to see that trend here with the Gulf.
All right, Lauren, tumbleweeds out there. Haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, it's a new one for the moment.
Yeah, so, it's a very interesting pattern that we're in here for the month of September. Typically, we start trending drier, at least across central Alabama, unless it's a tropical system. But a very rainy setup. We're going to show you those rain chances through the rest of the week. But take advantage this week of any breaks out there because there will be some rainy periods on the way. Later on this week, we see those rain chances start going up again. We'll show you that coming up in the 7-day forecast. And also coming up here, we have more on the Artemis. We're going to update you on that situation, that flooding over into Georgia. I mentioned some of those areas over there, Chattooga County, over a foot of rain according to radar estimates. This water crisis in Mississippi, wow. We're going to tell you a little bit more about how we're helping out here locally. Climate change on the coast or climate-related impacts. We're going to talk more about that as we continue on First Alert Weather Extra.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
And being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
Getting to the bottom of health and billing issues that may be hidden in the fine print.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. In your community, giving you a deeper perspective with the largest team dedicated to you. Showing new stories from overnight, helping you get through your day. With First Alert Weather and traffic, getting to the point, not wasting your time, these are your mornings. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When moments turn severe, how do you find clarity?
This is your First Alert from the WBRC Fox 6 weather team. We're with you as we prepare for this threat.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert wherever you are. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert weather team. Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m. In a day filled with clutter and noise, WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else. With new updates, live and on the scene, answers for your money and your livelihood, with 6 on Your Side investigates. And your first alert for the hours and days ahead with the WBRC First Alert Weather Team. On your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
Meteorologist Lauren Linehan. We've been talking about flooding here at our own neck of the woods here at home, but as we look across the state into Georgia, there has actually been some severe flooding that took place yesterday. 2 counties, Chattooga and Floyd County in northwest Georgia, potentially under the gun for more rain in the days ahead as they are now under a state of emergency. Fox's Tyler Fingert has more.
The video coming out of Chattooga County is crazy to say the least. Here in Lyerly on a normal day, this would be a road. For the time being, it's now a rushing river. It was a soaker of a Sunday that turned into a flood emergency in northwest Georgia. Roads turned to rivers as relentless rain inundated the area.
Looks like a lake. Everything's underwater, like the garbage is underwater, everything.
Lyerly Dam Road in Chattooga County is under feet of water. Chelsea Dotson lives nearby, and she says this flooding is one of the worst she's ever seen.
And now you can't even see the road. Like, there's a big drop off right here. I heard something about a truck came through here and they lost the truck.
According to Fox's Jonathan Stacy, the area saw about a foot of rain. That's more than a month's worth in just 24 hours.
I've not seen it to this magnitude, and I've lived here 47 years.
Mark Schrader is the Chattooga County Sheriff. He says as the floodwaters rose, rescue calls started coming in. They helped get several people out of their homes and stranded cars. He says some areas of the county are without drinking water.
We had significant flooding in the downtown Somerville area, the Lyerly area. Tryon area also saw significant flooding.
The deluge caused a small landslide in Silver Hill, sending trees onto the road below.
It's real crazy. This is the second time in 2 years, I think, we've had this much rain.
Back in Lyerly, the floodwater is concerning for those staying nearby.
It's scary. You're worried about your animals and your house and your cars and your loved ones.
The sheriff tells me despite all of the flooding, as of now, nobody has been hurt. He also says neighboring counties and the state are already stepping up to help. In Lyerly, Tyler Fingert, Fox News.
And as we look across the other part of the state in Mississippi, an update on the water crisis in Jackson. The situation is improving. The mayor says most people should start noticing water pressure coming back inside their homes, but the city is still under a boil water notice and more than 100,000 people are depending on water distribution sites.
I'm just grateful and thankful for all the water distribution, all the free water that they're giving us.
It was rough because most of the stores didn't have water. So you had to boil water. And boiling water ain't nothing nice.
It could have been a worse situation. We could have had a flood out. We could not have any water. So just be thankful for the little water that we do have.
The National Guard is on the ground there helping, but the head of FEMA says unfortunately they can't guarantee when clean tap water will be there. So we've been talking about the flooding. Now let's take you back to outer space where Artemis still has it launched. The earliest we could see Artemis launch, not until next month, NASA says. Saturday's launch was scrubbed because of a fuel leak, and it was the second time NASA had to call off the launch. Engineers are trying to fix the leak, but it may require rolling the rocket back inside NASA's assembly building. The next launch window runs from October 17th through the 31st. So hopefully we'll have some better luck with Artemis in the coming months. In the meantime, here on First Alert Weather Extra, we're going to be breaking down that 7-day forecast for you with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, talking about any flooding concerns we have this week, and I'll take a peek with you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
West Shore Home is America's leader in shower and bath remodeling, and today I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore to talk remodeling and why you should consider starting your project now.
So Joe, we know how stressful it is to get a new bath or shower installed. So at West Shore Home, we make it fast, easy, and now even more affordable to get your shower or bath project.
Well, we know how you're making the projects fast and easy with the one-day installation, but how are you making things more affordable when the price of everything else seems to be going up these days?
So we know that we've had a rough few months with gas prices higher than normal and monthly budgets getting tighter. That's why we want to help everyone out. Right now, for anyone who calls in, we'll do free installation on all shower and bath projects. And on top of that, you can save your money and put it towards other bills because we're doing 18 months of no payment and no interest financing. That means you don't have to make your first payment until 18 months after your installation is complete.
So with that financing plan, people can stay flexible with their money while getting the shower bath they need now. That's super helpful.
It really is. We know that this is a busy time of the year for people, so you really should leave the stress of remodeling a bath or a shower to the experts. With our 18 months, no payments, no interest financing plan, that combined with our one-day installations, West Shore Home really is the best solution for your bath or shower remodeling.
Now, Kirsten, for somebody interested in starting their project now, what would be their first step?
So give us a call and we'll schedule an appointment at a time that's convenient for you. You'll see hundreds of customizable options that will bring new life to your bathroom. At the end of that appointment, we'll give you an exact price that's down to the penny, good for an entire year.
Wow, so even if you're not ready to get that shower project started now, you can lock in that price and not have to worry about any price increases for a full year.
Absolutely.
Wow, Kirsten, thanks so much, folks. Call West Shore Home now and take advantage of their Labor Day sale. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects, plus 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. As we track some wet weather across the state, there are a lot of areas with no wet weather at the moment. Some breaks and some clouds around Shelby County, some sunshine. We had some heavy rain earlier today, but it comes and goes, and that's going to be the story tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. In fact, just kind of breaking down each day, it looks like for first off this evening, the wet weather is going to thin out in coverage. And let's start with the current setup, and you can see that rain there pushing between Etholsville and Carrollton. A little shower we're tracking into Pickens County. This flood watch set to expire at 7 o'clock, but we'll still need to pay close attention for that possibility of some additional localized flooding over the next couple of days. Some rain into parts of Hale County and tracking a couple showers here. We have one moving towards McCalla, a little pop-up, and also around Hoover. There you go. Another little shower is starting to pop up at the moment. As we fly in, we had a little bit of rain that was back in here over parts of St. Clair County, but that's moving on out. So over towards, actually, we'll back this view out. You can see moving on out towards Jacksonville and Anniston, some more wet weather still happening or still possible across parts of Calhoun County. I know we had a lot of rain earlier. Our weather watcher, Jerry Peak, reporting almost 1.25 inches there in the Oxford area today. We got a 50% chance of rain tomorrow, but there's going to be some areas that stay dry, some areas that get some very heavy rain out there during the day. Let me just show you what some of the new high-resolution data shows, and this has been kind of wavering over the past few runs here, but we're showing it tomorrow in the morning, our best time to get outdoors. Now, there could be some fog around, and I still can't rule out any point tomorrow morning there could be a shower around. Wet weather even overnight tomorrow morning is overnight. I can't rule out a shower, but the coverage, again, I mentioned, thins out. We don't see quite as much rain, but then once we get to Tuesday around lunchtime, well, be on the lookout. Check the app before you head outdoors. If you're about to do some yard work, start an outdoor activity, you'll want to check in because there could be some pop-ups starting as early as lunchtime, especially. The chances just go up with the heating of the day. Notice as those temperatures rise into the 80s, that shows 6:30 and shows some storms, scattered storms out there tomorrow, but you kind of get the picture. It's a bit more widely scattered, certainly not quite as covered up as what we had yesterday across Alabama, but that's tomorrow. And Wednesday is going to be a similar day. As we look at some of the data there for Wednesday, we have that rain chance, still kind of a 50-50 shot there, some wet weather in the morning. Again, maybe a shower or two out there, and then watch what happens as we get to lunchtime. You'll see that coverage really starts to pick up, and another good chance that we could have some showers. Some of the data showing that the wet weather on Wednesday may have more kind of a northwest to southeast component to it perhaps, but we're looking at a setup later on this week. We've had this upper level trough across the region, and that's going to gradually deepen according to the global data into more of an upper level low. I have that painted here on the map. If you look closely, you can kind of see where that big low would be located, and that also helps to draw in that wet weather as that spins across the region here later on this week, Thursday and Friday. That's Friday afternoon, and we're seeing a good coverage not only around here, but look back into Mississippi across the region. Flooding is going to be an issue. Localized flooding, we'll need to watch out for that. Friday could be one of those days we wake up to some rain and we have occasional showers right on through the afternoon. I know we've been lucky so far with high school football. This may be the one where we could see some more widespread rain, so keep an eye on that forecast. And Saturday, that system starts to kind of lift out, but I still can't rule out more clouds, more showers. But as the weekend goes on, we'll probably see the transition to more afternoon development there into Saturday and Sunday, but still plan for that possibility of some weekend wet weather impacts. High temperatures in the 80s. The overall temperature trend, you look at some of the long-range data, at least in our 7-day forecast, we're seeing indications of temperature staying below average, but it's just very muggy, very humid. No significant pattern change that we're seeing as we bring in meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, you know, looking at this data going beyond the 7-day forecast, a lot of folks have said, when will we finally get some drier, at least that crisp fall feel? Not anytime soon, right?
No, I've not seen anything that looks even remotely positive and beyond the 7-day. If you do see below average temperatures, that normally correlates to the fact that there's going to be rain around. I will say 8 to 14 days from now, we may see a little dent in this wet pattern. Notice across the U.S. as we look at this outlook from the Climate Prediction Center showing maybe some drier weather across the southern plains extending into the Ohio River Valley and the mid-Atlantic. But for us, you just see this gray blob over Alabama. You're like, what's the deal? That just means going to be pretty typical for September. September is one of our drier months, so what we've been seeing right now is unusual, but across the Pacific Northwest, going into 8 to 14 days from now, potentially seeing some above average moisture. Not that they don't see that already, but as we look ahead for us in terms of temperatures, what about that crisp fall air like Wes was mentioning? Well, showing the potential for above average temperatures 8 to 14 days from now, especially across the heartland of the U.S. The good news is for folks along the West Coast who have been dealing with a brutal record-breaking heat wave this week, potentially below average temperatures in the forecast for them, but here at home in Alabama, looking like it's going to be a bit of a hot one in the days ahead. But as we look towards this week, at least, we'll have the rain around to keep us a little cooler. But as we look at those high temperatures 8 to 14 days from now, looking at the end of next weekend into next next week. Maybe starting off with 80s again, still a little rain around, but showing those temperatures beginning to climb back into the 90s. So I think we are going to see a push of summer back in forecast soon. But what about that crisp air? Could we at least see a dent in the mugginess? Well, as we look ahead here going into next week, you'll notice we've still got plenty of moisture just sitting over the southeast. And what I'm showing you here, that number is not the actual air temperature, that's the dew point telling us how much moisture is in the air. So remember, when dew points are into the upper 60s, into the 70s, that means you got some really muggy air in play. So it just doesn't change anytime soon. We just don't see that yellow coming and creeping down towards our neck of the woods. But hopefully, maybe by the end of September, we'll get some good news. But still, in the meantime, we got to deal with the wet weather this week. Coming up in First Alert Weather Extra, we're going to be looking at the climate and how that could be impacting. We see the climate change. We'll be right back.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
Being another set of eyes, looking out for your kids and your family.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m., WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else on your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10, on your side.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
How will the weather impact your roads? The First Alert Weather app has live traffic updates and road conditions for a safer commute. This is why we First Alert.
WBRC Fox 6 News, on your side.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. We have been talking about climate change on Weather Extra plenty, and today we take a deep dive into two communities, one in Louisiana and one in Wales. Geographically different, but they share a common issue, and that has to do with rising sea levels. CNN's Michael Holmes has more.
With the stroke of a pen, it's a new beginning for a handful of residents of Louisiana. This is now home.
This is the first project of its kind in our nation's history. These are basically climate change refugees.
Less than 40 miles away, some 60 kilometers, is where they used to live, on the Ile de Jean-Charles, which is vanishing into the sea. Climate change and erosion from oil and gas canals are largely to blame.
In our own yard, right here, I could count 15 trees whenever I was growing up that's not there anymore.
Facing the reality of a 98% loss of land in just under 7 decades, the state of Louisiana and an indigenous tribe from the island applied for a new federal grant in 2016 designed to help areas impacted by climate change to move the community to the mainland. It's a controversial solution which was met with some resistance by people who didn't want to leave. But it's one that countries around the world are considering as they too face the loss of habitable land due to climate change. Forecasts say in 30 years the Welsh village of Fairborn is at risk of being engulfed by rising sea levels. So about a decade ago, officials decided they couldn't afford to maintain its flood defences against such conditions, and that by 2054, Fairborn would no longer be a safe or sustainable place to live. Authorities say they're working on a plan to eventually relocate people, but some say they don't have details on when and where they will go.
Nearly 1,000 people living here, and this is their home. This is where they live.
Some residents aren't giving up easily and are challenging the government to find other alternatives. But a recent report by the Royal Meteorological Society says that sea levels around the UK are on the rise, especially over the last 30 years, leaving coastal land in more danger from winds and waves and larger and more frequent storms. A prospect some villagers say is worrying.
In, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 years' time, if what is being talked about comes to fruition, the UK is going to be just a bit of a strip of land down the middle. And where are all these people going to go?
A question residents in many places are pondering if more action isn't taken to protect coastal lands as the effects of climate change are felt closer to home. Michael Holmes, CNN.
And hopefully we don't come to that point and we can take some action. In the meantime, if you're going to be taking some action for your Labor Day for tonight, maybe grilling out, I wouldn't say it's the best weather for it. Most of us aren't seeing too much in the way of rain right now. It's just kind of cloudy and muggy. But in the days ahead, we'll continue to keep this unsettled weather pattern in place. Looks like Friday may be the day with the best rain coverage. So we went ahead and knocked that high temperature down into the 70s. Wes will have an update for you tonight on First at 9. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy rest of your Labor Day.